like to welcome everybody to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees meeting. It is April 14th, 2020 at approximately 5:30 p.m. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, this is a virtual meeting of sorts where we are going to be telecasting this over Waycross Media. Anyone in the public who is watching, they will have the opportunity to pose any questions to the board through our email. And Kathleen, before we get going, can you tell the public what that email is?
Absolutely. That email address is the letter K and then Kennedy, so KKENNEDY at springfieldtwp.org.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. Next, could we have the roll call, Mr. Burning?
Yes. Ms. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Burning?
Present.
Mr. Honolaw?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
Next, could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first thing that we have on our agenda this evening is approval of minutes from our regular session on March 10th, 2020, and a special meeting on March 31st, 2020. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Burning, do we have a fiscal officer's report?
Yes, Mr. Honolaw. For the month ending March 31st, 2020, the township expenditures were $1,758,754.11, and receipts were $6,038,517.25. The ending cash balance of $22,001,966.44 includes obligations to expenditures, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvement projects, and investments. What I do request is a motion to approve the receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, update and current revenue and reports for the period ending March 31st, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And I just want everyone to know that township financial reports are available upon request here during business hours or over the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burning. Next, moving on to departmental action and discussion items. Mr. Gilbert, do we have the Township Administrator's report?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Honolaw. This evening, I just have a few action items, things that from a continuity of business standpoint, we need to take action on. Obviously, this is a more abbreviated agenda, mainly due to the fact that while we all continue to work here at Springfield Township, there are some things that we have put on the back burner and obviously not dealing with the public in a tremendous way right now due to the closure of our offices, as well as, frankly, the private sector really isn't doing much right now. So, but with that being said, we do have some action items that need to be reviewed and looked at by the board. The first being, due to the pandemic issue, as the board is aware, we've taken several actions as going as far back as mid-March or beginning of March. From the closure of our offices to the public, to the cancellation of events and programs, and also having some of our staff work remotely. In the spirit of and to comply with the CDC guidelines as well as the stay-at-home order, we have taken an action to close the township parks to recreational use. So what I mean by that is any use that's sort of non-passive. So the playgrounds have been closed, the park shelters are closed, as well as the sporting complexes, baseball fields, soccer fields, to any organized use in order to maintain those social distancing guidelines. That's being recommended by the CDC and the state. So with that being said, what I would ask for is that the board ratify that action that we took, which was in between our previous meeting and this meeting. So just to make it official, if the board could ratify that action to close all township parks except for passive use.
I have just a quick question. Does that include all the restrooms?
It does.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up.
Do we have a motion to ratify the township park closures?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next motion I have is, as the board is aware, we went out to bid for the Brentwood Heights road reconstruction project, which included various other streets in addition to those that were included in the Brentwood Heights skip project that was awarded last year to be funded for construction this year. Due to the unknown consequences from a monetary and revenue standpoint that the shutdown is going to have on township revenues, we made the tough decision to put on hold any construction and capital projects that weren't already under contract or that were not tied to a state capital improvement program grant. So as a result of that, we're going to take our capital improvement project for road reconstruction projects from just shy of $1.9 million this year to just shy of $1 million, which is $979,340, half of which will be paid for by state capital improvement program grant funding. So what I would ask for in this motion, which is somewhat unusual that we've never done before, is to award the lowest bidder, which was Adlita Construction, at $1.875,775. So $1,875,775, with a modified scope of work to reduce the bid amount down to $979,340. That way, it still allows us to potentially increase the scope of work if we find that from a budgetary standpoint we can do that, but at the same time allows us to modify the bid amount down to what we're expecting it to be, which is just shy of $980,000. Does that make sense? So what I would ask for is a motion to award the lowest bidder of Adlita Construction with a modified bid amount of $979,340 due to a reduction in the scope of work.
And Chris, that, I was looking back at the forms we went over back when we considered all the different road projects. That's going to be for Thunderbird.
No, it's not. So the projects under this particular Brentwood Heights is Pine Hollow, Fernwell, and Foxcroft. That's the project that is applicable to the skip grant. So that would be Pine Hollow, Fernwell, and Foxcroft.
Okay,
Is the Brentwood Heights project.
okay, very good. Just wanted to clarify that. Do we have a motion to approve the Brentwood Heights resurfacing project bid as stated by Mr. Gilbert?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next action item I have is something we do every year, which is the Stormwater District fee renewal. So every year, the county stormwater district, which we're part of and required to be due to EPA mandates, I take that back. We're not required to be part of the county one, but there are certain mandates that we as a government would have to adhere to comply with EPA requirements, and it's more economical for us to join the stormwater district at the county level rather than trying to fulfill those responsibilities on our own here locally. And as a result, there's a fee structure that's put in place in order for the county stormwater district to carry out the required activities that's mandated by the EPA. Again, this year, that fee will be $15.14, which will be assessed to individual property owners here in Springfield Township. So I'm just asking for a motion authorizing me to sign the renewal fee for Springfield Township for the Hamilton County Stormwater District.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on with the spirit of agreements and renewals, it's that time of year again where we renew our property and liability insurance. Again, the quote from the Ohio plan and brought to us by our broker, which is Highland, is, as you look at it, last year our expiring premium was $196,183. This year it's $221,282. The reason for the increase, which I think bears some explanation, is, as the board is aware, we operate the multi-jurisdictional drug task force known as DART. DART has a separate risk and liability insurance policy, or they did have a separate risk and liability insurance policy through the Ohio plan as well. Due to some review at the Ohio plan, looking at DART's policy, it felt that it made more sense for us to enroll DART's policy in with the township policy. So that accounted for about $20,000 of the $25,000 increase. So DART will continue to pay that. And DART pays their bills, including this policy premium, through a federal grant. So that will still be paid. It will just be paid by DART on behalf of the township for a portion of this premium. The remaining $5,000 premium is the increase that the township received, which is just under 3%, roughly 2.5% increase, which is pretty good considering standard increases across the market are well over 10%. So I think we're doing fairly well on our renewal with property and liability insurance. But I wanted to make that note that it looks like it's a fairly large increase. But that's because we've included a bunch of new exposures and equipment and property in with our policy, which increased the premium and the liability, which is where you got the $25,000 increase. So again, $20,000 of that will come from DART, and a fairly small nominal increase for the township as a result. So I guess what I would ask for, if there are not any questions regarding the policy renewal, is the authorization for me to sign a renewal with Ohio plan for the property and casualty insurance for the township.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So another agreement in renewal that we have that is expiring soon in April is Bachmann Hvac, which is our vendor that takes care of all of our preventative maintenance and HVAC needs here in the township. As the board is aware, when we moved from Hvac as our facility maintenance contractor and went to TDG, part of that change was to bring on an HVAC contractor to work in tandem with TDG to provide the same level of service that we received from Hvac. In fact, we're receiving better service with the combination between TDG and Bachmann than we did with Hvac, and at a reduced cost. The renewal rate continues to be the same. That hasn't changed, and this will again be another one-year contract from April this year to April of 21. So I would just ask for a motion authorizing the administrator to sign a agreement for 1 year with Bachmann HVAC.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under discussion items, I think it warranted some explanation. There's the first agenda item regarding the resolutions. The first resolution talks about authorizing an adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund. As the board is aware, every year we receive a portion of funding from the state known as the local government fund. We've talked about that in many years previous because there were significant cuts to that. In fact, we're receiving about 50% of what we traditionally received 10 years ago. But that money comes from the state to the county, and then there's a formula by which that money is dispersed throughout the county to local jurisdictions. The county's been using this alternative formula, and it's referred to as alternative because it's different than what the traditional formula is outlined in the Ohio Revised Code. The county's been utilizing this formula since 1989. Every 8 years, we're asked by the county auditor to pass a resolution authorizing and accepting an alternative formula to disperse the local government funds throughout the county. That's what that resolution is for. And as shown on the attached chart, the township is scheduled to receive approximately $365,000 to $370,000 per year for the local government fund. So, again, not to go into the complicated formula itself, but I just wanted to explain what that resolution was for and why we're adopting it. We do this every 8 years, and we have since 1980. Any questions regarding that? But you'll take action on it via the resolution, but just wanted to explain what that resolution was for.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Next, under discussion items, I have the personnel update. We were very busy in the fire department. Obviously, due to the pandemic and the increased run volume, we've hit it pretty hard trying to bring on additional part-time firefighter, EMTs, and medics to cover the available shifts that are needed to maintain adequate responses to the increased volume and demand. So with that being said, we brought on these particular part-time firefighter EMTs: Henry Cadell, Jacob Courtney, Haley Dana Miller, Ryan Kennedy, Kirsten Kolkmeyer, Elena Kosalina, which is a part-time medic-only position, Anthony Ligori, Jacob LeCount, Leah Reese, Tyler Schnell as a part-time medic-only position, and Sherman Smith as a part-time EMT firefighter. And those dates were April 6th for several of them and April 8th for the remaining. So pretty busy in the fire department trying to bring on those part-time medic and EMTs to fill those shifts. Moving on, community intervention programs. While typically we would have Kim Flam read this report, practicing our social distancing, we've refrained from bringing in any additional staff other than what's necessary. The June 5th Puppets for Lunch, while not canceled yet, will likely be canceled. So stay tuned for that. June 19th, Touch a Truck, while we have not canceled that potentially will be canceled as well, just depending on what happens with the stay-at-home orders and the social distancing requirements. We're still not sure yet, so we're not sure what's going to happen. So
Hopefully that can be rescheduled.
yeah, we'll
Very
try.
popular event.
We'll definitely try. There's a lot of logistics and things involved, but we'll do it. We'll do our best. June 26th and 27th, all kids theater production of Disney's Moana Jr. That has been canceled, and not necessarily canceled by us, but by the firm or the agency putting on that production. And then July 6th and July 30th, we have big screen outdoor movies in the moonlight. Again, that's something we put on. Hopefully we can have that event, but again, we're in a time of uncertainty, and we're just playing it day by day at this point.
Wait and see.
Wait and see. With that, the board has copies of the departmental activity reports, so unless there are any questions of those, that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Next, moving on to resolutions. The first resolution we have this evening is Resolution Number 36, 2020, resolution authorizing the adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Burning.
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 37, 2020, authorizing private sale of unneeded and unfit for use property in the police department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Burning.
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 38, 2020, declaring motor vehicles located on public or private property in Springfield Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, to be junk motor vehicles pursuant to Revised Code 505.173 and ordering the removal of such vehicles pursuant to Resolution Number 80, 2012, and Revised Code 505.871. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Burning.
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 39, 2020, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Burning.
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next on our agenda, do we have any old business this evening?
I do not, Joe.
I do not.
Any new business? Not in these
I do not.
uncertain times. Everything's new. And Kathleen, do we have any emails from anyone from the public?
I've only received one email, and that's from Miss Laura Abrams, letting us know that she's watching Liability. But otherwise, that's the only message I've received.
Glutton for punishment.
Hi, Laura.
Laura doesn't have a lot to do tonight. Yeah, hi, Laura. Very good. With that then,
She's actually watching just to see if we've created any new work for her,
if we're doing, yes, exactly.
which we have. A lot of the agreements and policies that we talked about tonight, she's working on.
Is there anything else before the board this evening? Here's not. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.